So for many, many years, we've on Ron Siegel Radio, one of the issues that we've come across over and over again is we never tell somebody they cannot that we can't do a home loan for them. Unless they're fraudulent or something like that, then obviously we're not going to get involved at all. But some of the issues that get involved with people is, maybe their credit scores are too low. How do we deal with that? Well, we talk about a game plan. And for many, many years, our game plan has included our friends over at Blue Water Credit because they do a great job for people, helping them correct the credit report. And they're not the ones out there going with this bogus fraud stuff that, sending a letter out saying, oh, it's not my debt. Well, hogwash. If it's your debt, it's your debt. But the fact of the matter is, it's kind of like I kind of look at Blue Water Credit similar to a criminal defense attorney, right? If somebody goes out and commits a crime, well, the attorney's job is not to say they didn't do it. The attorney's job is to make sure that their constitutional rights are adhered to. Well, our friends at Blue Water Credit do the same thing on the credit side. They make sure that the law is followed and that everything that on the report is done in a legal way. So let's chat this morning. We've got Sarah Perkins of Blue Water Credit with us. Welcome.
Hello.
Glad to have you with us. Am I right about that? I mean, you guys aren't just going out there saying it's not mine and fight over that issue?
Yeah, no, that's probably one of the worst ways to do it because they're going to come back on your credit report. They usually fall off for about 30 days and someone thinks there's home free, paid all this money, and next thing you know, it's determined not fraud, and then they're right back where they started from.
Yeah, so it's a short-term fix for something that could be done correctly the first time.
Absolutely.
So let's start off. 4 biggest mistakes of credit. Let's run down those to start with.
So number 1 would obviously be paying anything late. Late payments, your payment history, making an account derogatory is one of those things that's going to drive your score down. One account can maybe do it as much as 80 points and multiple accounts as many as 175 points. So you want to make sure you're paying your items on time, setting things up on auto pay. That would probably be the number 1 mistake that people make.
So let me throw this at you because I got in a bit of a debate.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that you and I were going to be chatting today, yesterday I sent out maybe 10,000 messages. And I said that there is a method, if you pay your credit card bills strategically, it could potentially raise your credit score 150 points. And my thesis was go online before the statement closing date and pay off your credit card bill or pay as much as you can to minimize your utilization. And I had a lot of folks saying, that doesn't work. And I thought credit utilization had a pretty significant impact on your score. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, it's the second biggest category when determining the FICO score. So yeah, if you can determine when those balances are going to be reported to the bureaus, obviously we tend to correlate it with the statement date. That's usually when they're going to report it to the bureaus. And so if you can get it paid off before that date or work with your creditor to see when it is reported and pay it down so that keeps that utilization low.
Okay, so I'm not going to mention any names. I win, but I thought I did because I've learned. So as a mortgage person for the last, I think I helped the first family in 1983. So yes, I am old. You learn a lot by looking at credit reports, and I actually use a service, and I don't know if there's a better one or not, Sarah. I use myfico.com to monitor my personal credit scores, because then I can actually see, okay, if I paid this on this date, then this is what's going to happen, and if I pay it on that date, that's what's going to happen. Is there someplace better to go than myfico.com?
Actually, MyFICO is typically where we recommend our clients to go. It's really the only place besides having a lender pull your credit, which then we were talking about inquiries and possibly affecting your score, but where a consumer can go, pull their own credit and get a pretty vast report of all the different scoring models and where they sit with a mortgage score, auto score, credit card score, because there are a lot of them out there and can be confusing.
Okay, so I should have done this, Josh. I didn't say it before. rsrccpayment.com. If you want to know exactly what Sarah and I were talking about before on paying your credit card bills strategically, rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com. That's the way to get that information right there. So, okay, so we were talking about the top 4 biggest credit mistakes. Paying late, obviously, is, I love the idea of what you said there, Sarah, because the idea of auto pay. Expand on that a little bit if you would.
Yeah, I mean, we all have pretty hectic lives. I mean, if you're still sending things the old fashioned way with the mail, that's not very reliable. Take it, the thought process out of it, have it set up on auto pay. So it gets paid on that due date and you're not risking, having a late charge because you simply forgot. Life got crazy.
Yeah, that makes it a lot easier. I like the idea of not having to think.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because the fact of it is, and so the other one that I've heard a lot on, and I'll throw at you because you're the expert, I'm just the radio host. So pay your credit card bills twice. And what I recommend is, once again, right before that statement closing date. And then I like the idea of having that auto pay right before the payment due date. Whatever you think your minimum payment's going to be on a regular basis. So every month you're sending on auto pay $50, $100, $200, whatever your minimum is, but make the biggest part of your payment right before the statement date. So you're making 2 payments a month. Is that good, bad? Does it matter?
I think it kind of is like the idea behind making the extra payment on your mortgage. You're going to pay it off a little bit faster. Maybe it helps break it up between pay periods. Maybe you can't afford, one big chunk on a certain date. So if you can split it up and do it twice during the month, even better.
Yeah, that makes seems to make a lot of sense to me. I'm glad that I'm getting the same answer from the expert. We got a lot to go over with Sarah Perkins of Blue Water Credit. We're going to continue our conversation. Sarah Perkins is with us, Blue Water Credit. Got a lot to chat about, and we didn't get to very much of what we wanted to talk about. Sarah, I get a lot of people. I just got this one in that messages I got back from folks yesterday when I sent out about our payment plan. I've got my FICO score. Their comment was, my FICO score is 869. Does that give? I thought that was a bit above what the cap was, but again, you're the expert. 869. Does that give you any indication of what might be going on here?
It's probably not the FICO mortgage score. So that there's different scoring models within FICO. And then there's even the Vantage score, which is what you typically see on like Credit Karma. And all of them have different ranges. So if someone's telling you that, they're most likely not looking at the score that would be the most important for obtaining a mortgage loan.
So would I be right in saying my comment for Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, all those others, is they're really FACO scores. They're not FICO scores.
Yeah, we their educational purpose is what we call. We kind of compare it to the Zillow's estimates if you're in the real estate market. They're as good as that. And they can be off 100 points one way or the other.
So when I say that Zillow just gives you the wrong value, we can say that Credit Karma is doing the same thing.
Absolutely.
So is in your experience, would Credit Karma be moving in a similar direction as my FICO score? So if my FICO score is improving, could I assume or should they go the other way around? If my Credit Karma score is improving, I know it's not going to tell me my FICO, but is it fair to say that my FICO might be improving also?
Possibly. They put different weight on different categories. So we know a credit score with FICO, it's more heavily weighed on if you have derogatory accounts and credit utilizations, where Credit Karma is going to put different weight on how long maybe you've had the accounts open and the actual balances that you're carrying. So it just depends on what category you're improving or, not improving in.
Now, I've watched on Credit Karma that a lot of what they're doing, their main purpose, they tell everybody it's free. Yeah, nothing, and there's no free lunches. Their real purpose is to try and sell you their credit card services, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, they're running ads. I see it all the time when I check mine. I mean, really, all that it's good for, or what we tell our clients, it is a free service, but it's a way to monitor your credit and seeing changes going on if something all of a sudden pops up that you're not aware of, so you can stay on top of those changes.
So, yeah, so it's so basically, you're getting what you pay for. Free advice is generally exactly what you pay worth, what you paid for it. So just be aware of that. So that's one of the biggies right there. I want to throw this one at you. There's got to be a little trick to this trade. If I needed a real quick hit on my credit score, is there something I can do that might be the quick way of getting my score up maybe 40, 50 points?
I would say that probably the biggest impact that you have control over is paying down a balance on a card. And if you're limited on funds, take that lowest balance card that has the highest utilization and target that one first. So a $500 maxed out card is going to hurt you in utilization the same as a $10,000 maxed out card. So that's what we tell our clients. If you're limited on funds, pay down that $500 one to $50. Get it down to that 1 to 10% range.
Now, what about our really, really challenged people? If they go and try and settle a debt, is that going to help them, hurt them?
Well, it depends on the age of the debt. So anything that is been less than 4 years, at least in California, that's still within the statute of limitations where somebody can be legally sued. We always are recommending settling those debts. We do offer that service at Blue Water Credit where we have an inside connection with, how low they will go. And some of these agencies will actually give you a deletion along with saving the money and settling the account.
But we hear so many of them when I've talked to people, they said, well, I called and they said they're not allowed to delete that from my credit report. Is that
Correct.
true?
Correct. So by law, they are not allowed to remove correct information, but they're deeming it correct. So what we do at Blue Water Credit is we actually look to see how it is reported, and we're looking for those inaccuracies, erroneous information, and then that's what we are skilled to see and be able to have the accounts removed that way.
Now, in the past, when Jeff and I have spoken, it used to be that nothing really has to be on your report, but if it's there, it has to be complete, accurate, and verifiable. Is that still the same rules?
Yes.
Okay, so there's one of the issues. What about these Experian Boost? Does that help us, hurt us, especially when you're looking at people trying to get a mortgage?
So there's a couple things with Experian Boost. I'm sure everybody's seen the commercials on television, and but really it's only affecting your FICO 8 score again. So if we're talking about a mortgage score, it's going to not have any effect on that FICO score. What you're essentially doing is giving Experian access to your bank account. They are going to then pull out information from your bank account and look for trending data, who you're paying on utilities, maybe it's Netflix, and they're going to add those kind of things to your report, rental history. But again, those kind of things are, as of right now, are not recognized by the FICO model that the mortgage industry uses. So if you're maybe just looking for a boost, it could help you maybe secure that credit card or maybe get you in a rental that you might need to get into.
That's fascinating. I never realized that it's not going to hit the model for the mortgage side. So it's completely irrelevant there.
Yes.
Yet the commercials don't quite tell you that. The part of it that I've looked at, and again, having looked at credit reports for more decades than I care to mention, is that as a lender, and I do lead a lending team. So lenders, we look at the middle of the 3 scores. Mm-hmm. If the Experian score was already the highest, it's really irrelevant how much higher it goes, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we want to really deal. So when you're looking at somebody's report to see if they are a candidate for credit repair, are you dealing with all 3 bureaus, or are you really just targeting, 1 or 2?
We are still going to target all 3 bureaus. We are going to listen to what the client is trying to achieve, or what their lender tells us. Hey, we need to reach a score of this number within this bureau. But we find it most effective to send out the disputes on all 3 bureaus and all the accounts all at the same time instead of targeting just one, because then you're going to be stuck in a program a lot longer. Where Blue Water Credit, we have you in and out 4 to 6 months max, where I think the national average for credit repair is like 13 months or more. And usually it's because they're just doing target disputes.
Yeah, you're too kind there. Actually, it's not because they're doing target disputes. It's because you're on a monthly billing plan and they want to keep you in the program longer. I won't say anything about the one that's got the name from Kentucky, but that's a whole different issue. Continue our conversation. Sarah Perkins is with us, Blue Water Credit. Sarah, did I miss anything on that do not call discussion?
No, the only thing that we let people know is it can take up to 5 days. So if you can pre-plan it before you know you're going to run credit, or if you're working with a lender, be a little bit proactive because it can take up to 5 days for it to go into effect. So although the application process is super quick, like 2 to 3 minutes, for it to really go into effect and not become that trigger lead, you're going to want to give it 5 days.
Wow. Okay, I'm learning something new. I love it when I have people come on that can educate me. So I didn't realize that it's 5 days for that to take effect. So that's good information right there. So, I used to tell people all the time that I questioned the validity of having the right documentation for a collection when it had to do with medical and fighting with the HIPAA laws. Is there something new going on with medical collections that we should know about?
Well, it did start last year where the bureaus got together and decided that paid medical collections were now going to be automatically removed from the consumer's file. So before, even if you paid these debts, or they would still linger and they would still have an effect on your credit score. So this is really helping an underserved population that maybe was having some difficulty paying the medical debt. They also changed the time frame that they had to try to resolve it before they can even report it in the first place. So it went from 6 months to 12 months, again giving someone a little more time to work with the medical provider or the collection agency before it even has a chance to hit your credit report. And then most newly coming up, I believe starting in August of this year, if the balances are $500 or less, those are also going to be automatically removed from someone's profile.
So now if they show up, is that a time when someone needs to, if it's under that $500 and it's past that August time, is that something that you could help somebody with over at Blue Water Credit?
Absolutely. So those are the type of things that we can help. We actually have a direct portal with TransUnion. We can get those kind of items actually deleted in a matter of minutes, where you can run a new credit report that same day and it's like it never was even there. So it's perfect for someone that maybe just needs a jump in the TransUnion score. The other ones can take a little bit longer to go through that process.
Now, if we run a second credit report that day after you've got that TransUnion cleaned up, is that going to be another inquiry on there, or is that going to change anything?
So with rate shopping, they have it where you have 30 days to rate shop with the mortgage company. So as long as you're within that 30 days, it's not going to ding you any more than the first one did.
Okay, so not gonna hurt us too much right there.
Yeah.
So, is there some sort of a secret? I mean, does everybody understand, or is it public knowledge what's going on to maximize your credit score? Is there some sort of a inside baseball that you can share with us?
Um, you know, Everybody tries to figure out what the FICO scoring model is. Nobody has the exact, do this and this will happen. We have an idea just based on what we know how they weigh certain, categories. We've determined that the sweet spot is probably between like 2 and 3 credit cards, having a mortgage or an installment loan on your credit. Length of credit is big. We don't want you guys closing those old accounts, even though maybe you're not using them as much. The length of credit history that you have is also very important. We talked about inquiries, and then just a variety of credit.
Okay, so you want to have that variety, and do you coach people on that?
Yeah, so that's something that we can do through the consultation. So, a third of the people that we talk to just aren't good candidates for credit repair. Maybe they don't necessarily have any derogatory accounts on things that we are able to dispute, but we can give them an action plan as far as, what accounts to pay down, give them links to some secured products. We have some great ones that goes to either a secured credit card or one that's an installment loan, or it looks like an installment loan where you're actually paying $15 into a savings account to yourself, but it reports like an educational loan on your credit. And those typically take about 7 days to report on your credit. And yeah, we always hand out those links to anybody that contacts us. And then, yeah, if they are a good candidate for credit repair, then, we would get them enrolled and assigned to a case manager.
Now, is that are those type things in the newest version of the Blue Water Credit Repair book?
Yeah, so we do have a new ebook that just came out, the 2023 credit ebook. So anybody is welcome to go to our website at bluewatercredit.com and download that ebook. And it has a lot of great information on those kind of tips of things you can do on your own.
And if you either go to bluewatercredit.com or you can just send us an email, rj@ronsiegelradio.com. We've got a plenty of ebook copies here that we can send you, which I think it's just one copy that we send out and it's over and over again. So either way, you can get that. You can get Sarah's book right there, and from our friends over there at Blue Water Credit. So it's great stuff. Now, it says something here about credit reports. What are you guys doing with credit reports? I understand credit reports have gotten really expensive this year.
Well, one good thing, if you can say anything good happened with COVID, is with free annual credit report.com. You used to get one credit report from each of the bureaus once a year. And that was, it didn't give you a score, but it gave you a very detailed, look at what's going on with your credit. Well, with COVID, they upped that to once every week. So instead of relying on, Credit Karma or some of the other monitoring systems, you can literally go to annualcreditreport.com once a week, pull all three bureaus. Again, you're not getting a score, but it's going to help you navigate what is on your credit.
So do you recommend that if somebody's retained Blue Water Credit, and what does that even process look like? Who's the right person? How do you decide whether it's a good fit for Blue Water and for any of our listeners?
So, we obviously need a credit report to look at. So if you're working with a lender and they're able to share that with us, otherwise, doing something like annual credit report, or we partner with IDIQ that gives a great, just streamlined report of all three bureaus. And what we're looking for, a good candidate would be, clients that have collection accounts, late payments, the medical collections that we talked about, maybe even an ID theft or having a public record like bankruptcy. Those are all things that we can work on. And maybe they just need straight debt negotiation. So that's a service that we can couple with the credit repair, or it can be a standalone service if you're just looking to try to get out of debt with some, overdue bills.
Boy, we could probably open up a whole can of worms with ID theft. We don't even have time to get into that one. What does it cost to get started?
So there's nothing for just the risk-free consultation. We can either do an action plan if you're not a good candidate for credit repair, and do a extensive report of, do this, this, and that. If you are a good candidate for credit repair, it is on a flat monthly fee. On average, $180 per month. We do discount if you come in as a couple, which can be a spouse, a sister, a cousin, whoever it may be. You are not bound by any contract. It is month to month. And like I said, on average, most clients are in our program 4 to 6 months max. But you're working with a dedicated case manager who is reviewing the updates with you and letting you know, hey, this is the goal you need to reach. That's all we need to do. We're going to let you go. If you want to come back later and try to work for that coveted, 800 score, we can work with you later. But, we're really there to just get the client in and out so they can get into the loan product that they're trying to get into.
So, and I can share, and I don't work for Blue Water Credit. I don't get paid by Blue Water Credit. I've been sending folks over there for many, many, many years, and great success. You can't say that about all the credit repair companies out in the marketplace. I can't say it. And I'm sure Sarah's not going to say it because that's her competitors, but I'm a consumer advocate and I don't care. At Blue Water Credit, I know for all the years that I've been working with them, people go to them, they love the service, they love the communication, they love the education, and they achieve their goals. They don't, a honest credit repair company can tell you what the challenges are from your report, but they can't guarantee results. That's not what happens from an honest company. You can get the other one out of Kentucky with a Kentucky name. They're going to tell you that this is what's going to happen. And what are they going to do? They're going to dispute 1 or 2 items every month and keep you in the program for 12 to 18 months. And they're going to say, oh, we're a lot cheaper than the other guys. Well, you haven't bought your house. You haven't bought your car. And you're paying their, I don't know, $70, $80, $90 fee for the rest of your life. Not the idea with our friends over at Blue Water Credit. I don't bring on people just lightly. I've had a great relationship with the company for many, many years. I think you'll be happy with them as well. Blue Water Credit, they're the ones that we team with at Ron Siegel Radio.